Devastator's all yours, Duke.
It's down to you and me, you one-eyed freak.
I wasn't originally planning on making a video about Duke Nukem Forever, but after seeing the absolutely ludicrous reactions to this game, and considering that it was quickly dawning upon the 4th anniversary here on YouTube reviewing games, those two factors quickly changed my mind. I'm gonna say this right now, I have never seen a game with more people complaining about it than Duke Nukem Forever. And for no really good reasons, as far as I can see. So, after analyzing numerous reviews, both professional, and I say that with quotes, and user-generated reviews, I finally figured out the 3 main types of people that are complaining about this game. First off, you have the funny little retarded cockheads who run the mainstream websites who think they're funny and like to jump on bandwagons thinking it'll get more traffic to their sites if they make fun of a game that's already causing an uber amount of controversy. You've got the idiotic, dumb-fuck purists that are just totally ripping this game apart because it strays even slightly from the original formula. And then you have my favorite group of people, the fucking imbeciles, who are foolishly expecting a Titanic super game after all these years, despite any and all logic pointing to the contrary. And then, of course, you've got your little subcategories within these 3 main categories of people, such as your graphic whores and your morality pussies. And overall, it's just fucking ridiculous, the amount of criticism that this game is getting. This is like Transformers 2 all over again, where people were saying it's a ripoff of another movie because they went to Jordan, and people were accepting that as a legitimate criticism about the movie. This is exactly like Transformers 2. And I understand the market has changed considerably since Duke Nukem 3D's release, but what most people don't realize is that Duke Nukem Forever is a relic of the past. And what I find really funny, yet quite admirable at the same time, is that the developers actually acknowledge this. During a conversation in the 2nd level where the president tells Duke he's a relic from the past and that the times have changed considerably. The developers knew this all along, that this wouldn't be a Titanic super game, that the whole Duke Nukem persona is supposedly outdated and no longer relevant in the modern society, and I say both of those phrases with quotes as well, but they went ahead and released the game anyway. Why? Because there still exists a decent-sized group of people, such as myself, who just wanted to play this game, who had been waiting for it since its inception and didn't care how good or bad it was. We just wanted to play it. Either way, we'd be satisfied, and was I satisfied with this game? Absolutely yes. But the one major issue that I want to point out also has to do with the current state of the industry, as so many people are complaining about. People are saying that every first-person shooter is the same. It's all trying to emulate the modern war shooter genre. That it doesn't have any personality. That it doesn't have any variety. That it doesn't try to do anything different. Yet this game has personality. It has more than 2 colors in it. It's got variety in its gameplay, and people are complaining about that, too. It's like, people, what the fuck do you want? A generic shooter comes out, you say it has no personality, no variety. This game comes out, it has personality and variety, and you're just dissecting it, picking it apart, making fun of it for no reason. It's really one of the main reasons why I don't play modern games anymore, because of the current state of the industry, and the two-faced mindset that people have. And no, this isn't the mindset of just like little 12-year-old kids, this is the mindset of virtually everyone. And you know, my fans have been asking me as of late, why do I not play any new releases? Why do I have no interest in the current state of the gaming industry? This is why. And I really just don't understand it. But anyways, on a more positive train of thought, if you want to know what Duke Nukem Forever is really like, I will say this right now. If you are a purist of the original, if you are someone who is easily offended, if you are a graphic whore, if you are someone who is foolishly expecting a Titanic super game after all those years of development, you will not like this game. But if you are someone who has been waiting for Duke Nukem Forever ever since its inception, and does not care how good or bad it is and just wants to play it, or if you're someone who can look past certain issues and just appreciate a game for what it is, you are going to love this game. As I did. It's a shooter that has personality, that has style, that has humor, that has a great variety of weapons still, that has a lot of environmental interactivity, that has boss battles in a fucking first-person shooter. When do you see that nowadays? It's got turret sequences, driving sequences, physics puzzles, all rolled into one package. It even has a few jumping segments, which are actually really darn good. I don't know why so many people were complaining about those either. One of which actually takes place when you're shrunk down to the size of an action figure, and you need to navigate your way across a kitchen filled with electrified water to save a girl. It also features areas where you're the size of an action figure and you're fighting regular enemies, so that in itself becomes a boss battle, which is really awesome, because you gotta lure them over to the shrink ray so they can be shrunken down so you can kill them more effectively. It's not without its flaws, not by a long shot. I mean, I was a little sketchy on the regenerating health at first, but if you really want to challenge yourself, don't pick up any of the ego items. See how hard it is later on in the later levels. You'll be thanking your lucky stars you got regenerating health. I will say this though, the 2-weapon rule is absolute bullshit. And there is no excuse for it. Maybe on a console, unless of course you played Resistance Fall of Man. But on the PC version, like what I played, where the loading times are only 7 seconds tops if you've got a good PC, you know, one that isn't 10 fucking years old. But there's no excuse for only 2 weapons. You're telling me, with over 100 buttons on a keyboard, you couldn't find a way for us to carry at least 4 or 5 weapons, which I actually hear there's a patch coming for the PC version, to extend the weapon limit to 4. It's a start. It's not great, but it's a start. But 3D Realms, there is no excuse for only having 2 weapons in a 2011 PC game, especially a Duke Nukem game. You know, who cares if it's not realistic? Duke Nukem isn't supposed to be realistic. That being said, there's not really a whole lot of new weapons here, and the new weapons that are introduced suck for the most part. I mean, there's like an AT laser, a Captain AT laser, a version of the AT laser that shoots missiles, and a railgun. All the lasers look the same. And they're not creative, interesting, or fun to use at all. That and like the last quarter to third of the game, which takes place inside Hoover Dam, Jesus Christ, 3D Realms, could you add any more gray in there if you tried? It's like gray, gray, and more gray. It makes Gears of War and Medal of Honor look like a fucking rainbow. Aside of that, though, those are the only complaints that I have about the game. I have nothing else I can say about this game that's bad. Yeah, the AI doesn't do much. There's really no secret areas to explore, no secret levels to unlock, so once you play through the campaign, there's not really much reason to give it a second go. But this game has everything I want in a first-person shooter. You know, something to deviate from the whole
I am an enemy!
And really, I just don't find it very fair, the way people are treating this game. And to all those people out there who are just whining up a storm about this game, stop whining, okay? You were whining when every single other shooter that came out was another modern military shooter. You wanted something different. This game delivered. And now you're complaining about this. Just stop complaining. And to all those people who haven't played the game yet, but want to, don't be deterred by all the bad reception it's getting. It's a great game, and as long as you're not any of the aforementioned gamer types, you'll love this game. It's really more along the lines of a modern reincarnation of Duke Nukem 3D with not a whole lot of new content. But if you've never played a Duke Nukem game before, although I highly recommend you check out Duke Nukem 3D, or you're just one of those gamers that just wants to play Duke Nukem Forever and doesn't care how good or bad it is, you just want to play it, you're going to love this game. Because if you ask me, this is an awesome game, it was well worth the time I spent playing it, and I can't wait for the next Duke Nukem game.